All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Those of you watching later, those of you coming in now, whoever comes in here. This was, I wanted to do this stream, but I was going to do it later tonight because I want to finish watching this movie, Cell Block 99, this movie that was recommended to me numerous times by Skull, who's someone who pops up in our chat sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I want to watch it before the next live stream, but I'm getting tired and I'm fading. So I'm like, all right, I better do the live stream now. I'll take a nap. I'm off all day tomorrow. So even if I wake up at like 2 in the morning, I can watch the rest of the movie at that point. So yeah, this is something I wanted to do. I was going to do a live stream on Friday night because I thought maybe on Friday I might not have lasted till the end of the day at work. I did. For those who don't know, my work, my job is like basically I have by the hour, like depending on how much money I'm making, that depends on how if I stay another hour or not. So it's kind of literally like that. Like you have to literally earn. What's up, Ferris? How's it going? You have to literally earn your next hour a lot of times. And so I was going to do a live stream on Friday night because Friday was October 2nd. That was the day Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, was originally supposed to come out in theaters. And it didn't, obviously. It's getting pushed back till next year because of COVID and everything. But then I was like, all right, well, I wanted to celebrate that a little bit. But then I was like, oh, wait, in a couple days on October 5th, that's going to be the 2-year anniversary. What's up, Venom time, 2000, man, how's it going? I said, well, on October 5th, in a couple days, that's when the first Venom movie released in 2018. So why don't we just combine these two and celebrate the whole weekend of this was the weekend that Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage was going to release. And 2 years ago, this is the weekend that Venom 1 did release. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. Any theories you guys have, anything like that. We're just going to go for like an hour and a half of just Venom. So just let's talk anything. This is an official Venom vlog episode. And we're just going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about that's Venom related. And hello, 5 people in here, and thanks for the thumbs up, whoever gave me that. Appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to our friend Florent, who's in France and is unable to attend. He was like, hey, I'm about to go to bed. I saw that you're going to go on live because I posted in the community board. And he's like, I don't think I'll be awake, And he's like, I'm so sorry. It's late here in France. So shout out to you, dude. I know you're here in spirit, and thank you for always supporting the channel. And hey, holy crap. Thanks. 4 thumbs up and 6 people. What's up? How's it going, X-Master? How's it going, dude? Good to see you. So I figured while we're talking about Venom stuff tonight, if there's ever a lull in the conversation, like if there's things like, as I'm waiting for your guys' responses and stuff, I can show off some Venom merchandise that I got recently. A lot of these are actually gifts from my little brother. He was just, he collects a lot of weird things like Funko Pops and stuff like that. And every once in a while he'll get extras of things. And so he was like, hey man, do you want this cool little Venom, zombie Venom Funko Pop? And I was like, sure. Can I zoom in? Focus on that? Not really. Anyway, that's what he looks like. And he's pretty cool looking. So yeah, it's something, a gift from my brother. I'll pull it back here. There we go. Zombie Venom. Yeah, it's cool. He's got like ooze all over him. His skull is showing, which I really love that. That's pretty much where my brain damage is, actually. That's a weird coincidence. What up, what up? Yes, I'm doing okay. Appreciate you guys asking. So yeah, if you have anything Venom related, like I said, this past weekend was the weekend Venom 2 was supposed to come out. It's also 2 years ago, the weekend that Venom 1 came out. So if you have anything Venom related you want to talk about, that's what we're here for. We're just going to kind of talk all things Venom. You can talk about movies, cartoons, video games, ask me questions about Venom, give me your opinion on something about Venom, whatever it is. Hopefully all my reviews are up now. I can't even remember. I think there's another Spider-Man review that I haven't posted yet, and I need to get that up because I think the issue 850 of Amazing Spider-Man, where we find out whoever Kindred's going to be, I think it comes out on Wednesday. So I need to get those reviews up, so I'll do my best. Show your Funko Pop. Yeah, did you not see it, this one? This is the one my brother got me. It's a zombie Venom. Yeah, I was showing it a minute ago. Maybe you weren't watching. So there you go. Yeah, he's cool looking. So he's got a hole in his head, coincidentally. It's very similar. I also have this Venom Finger Fighter. I saw that. I was just at Walgreens one day looking for something for my brother. He'll when he's out looking for Funko Pop and stuff, he'll look for action figures that I'm trying to find, like Blitzwing from Transformers right now, from the Bumblebee movie. I'm looking for him. and then some McFarlane DC figures. So while my brother's out there, he's like, he'll look for stuff for me. And same with me. I'll go out to like Walgreens. I'm like, what are you looking for? Funko Pop wise? And they'll send me a picture and I'll try to find it. So I didn't find any Funko Pop, but I did find these thumb wrestlers. I almost bought the Spider-Man one too, but these things are $5. I was like, dang, it's a little more than I want to spend for, an extra thumb wrestling thing. But I thought about buying a couple of these and doing like episodes, like where it's just not even my face, but you just see the thumb wrestlers talking to each other. But then I was like, that's not really, no one's gonna like that. So so I do have this one, so we'll go ahead and open it now. It comes with a little like trading card, which is cool. But it's really stuck to the back of this, so I'm probably gonna damage it. Well, that sucks. So yeah, I get a little trading card here. And it says it has the powers and everything of Venom on the back, like those old school Marvel cards used to do. That's kind of neat that they did that. But I wish they didn't stick it on there so hard, because now there's a clear wrinkle in the card because you can't get it out easily. That's what she said. So yeah, even though both my thumbs have Band-Aids on them, I guess I'll just put on my pinky because it's, so there you go. Oh, we are Venom. Brains. Yeah, my brother's a good dude. We didn't always get along. I know Ferris. I know you have older brothers, and they kind of mess with you sometimes. I was a little bit like that with my little brother, but that's just things that happen when you're kids. The hope is that you as you get older, you mature and you bond a little bit better. Here's a fun theory. 2000 Man says, Spidey had the symbiote first from a previous crash landing and gave it to the Life Foundation, trusting Carlton Drake to do good with it. I mean, if so, that's a terrible person to trust, because Carlton Drake was a very evil, clearly evil person. It's a good way to try to tie in the lore and stuff. But to me, it doesn't need to go to Spider-Man first. That's not really that important. Because if the dynamic between the two characters when they meet, if it's not going to be that Spider-Man and Venom hate each other instantly, if they have to be allies or something, I think that you don't need that setup then. That's what you got to always look at character first and what the story needs. And if the story doesn't need them to truly be enemies first in that way, then you really don't need that background, in my opinion. But I am lucky to have a good brother. You're right. What's up, Padilla? How's it going? Sup, Flaming Hotspot? What is up? Wait, Flame Gamer Hotspot 2000. Oh man, I'll just call you Hotspot. Padilla, yes, I'm doing good. Thank you very much. I love Venom. I do too, man. What makes Venom such a good character for you? I mean, I can't summarize 566 episodes really easily, but you kind of see it. Like when you watch my first episode of Venom vlog, I really was just interested that Tom Hardy was going to play the character. And I always liked Venom. Like my mom was even telling me, she's like, oh yeah, when you were younger, you got into that stuff. And Venom was one of your favorite characters. But after my aneurysm, I kind of forgot all that stuff. So it was kind of neat relearning the character in a way. I'm like, I've always liked Venom from a visual standpoint, but I realized I had huge gaps in his history that I either didn't remember that well, or I just never read before, like the Flash Thompson stuff. So it's been kind of fun, discovering this character and seeing the parallels that I feel like I have in my life with Eddie Brock. I feel like he and I aren't too different, and that's really weird because I never thought I would identify with a comic book character like that. There's a lot of comic book characters I like and that I want to be like, but there's not a lot of characters that I actually am like. And I felt like Eddie was one of those guys where I was like, oh, this guy's great. He screws up a lot. He screws up trying to do trying to survive, I think most of us just try to get through the day, and we just do the best we can. And sometimes our best sucks. And sometimes our best makes us lose friends or relationships or family and stuff like that. It pushes them away from us. And I liked that about Eddie. I was like, that's very real. I can't count on one hand, how many times I've done that in my life. I would need, I would need 6 hands to count all the mistakes I made on that level, and probably even more, 6 more probably. I got this recently. It was $8 on Amazon because I pre-ordered the Venom movie action figure from Amazon, and I lumped this in with it to put it over the $25 so I get free shipping. and he was only $8. So he showed up early. The Venom movie figure's not here yet, but I love Six-Armed Spider-Man, and that's actually the first time Morbius appeared in the comic books. That's when Spider-Man had the 6 arms, and he was fighting Morbius with 6 arms. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So it's hard to say that's what makes him a good character to me, is that as I was learning about his history, everything from suicide attempts to being Catholic to failing at his job to being cancel cultured in a way to an extent. I mean, I've never been that really, but I'm just like, having people just like that you thought were friends turn on you like in an instant. Eddie kind of went through that at his job at the Daily Globe. Everyone kind of turned on him after he screwed up the Sin Eater story. So I saw a lot of parallels, and I just made me really like the character. And then I love Tom Hardy already. He's one of my favorite actors. So when he got the role, I was super jazzed. So yeah, I guess that's probably the shortest version of an answer I can give you. I used to have 2 Funko Pops. Was Jason and Freddy. Oh man, nice. Those are 2 good ones. Jason's my all-time favorite movie monster character. I love Jason. I'm gonna try really hard to review, at least get some of the reviews up of all the Friday the 13th movies. There's 12 of them. I'm going to try really hard to do those reviews. I promised them like 2 years ago and I never did them. But I'm going to try to just buckle down and sit and watch them again and do some reviews for you guys closer to Halloween for Friday 13th. And then after that, I was thinking for Thanksgiving, we would do Predator, because I love Predator so much. So we would do Predators. I mean, I hate the 4th movie so bad, The Predator, but maybe you guys can convince me to do a review of it. I'm already doing commentary tracks for the Resident Evil movies, so if you hate those movies as much as I do, you should listen to my commentary tracks. They're pretty funny. The Mac Gargan incarnation of Venom was a complete monster. He sure was. Yes, he was. So much so that right now, currently, Mac seems to want to have a symbiote again, and I'm not really following that logic because he seemed pretty miserable when he was Venom. The only time he liked being Venom was when Norman Osborn gave him some kind of suppressant so that he could shut the monster side off, and he became Sinister Spider-Man. That was the only... By the way, where are those pills? If those pills exist, you need to use those on Null and all the Grendels he's bringing to Earth. So yeah, continuity. Corona prevented us from seeing live action Carnage 3 days ago. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this stream, because this last weekend would have been our first look at Carnage. I mean, we would have known what he looked like by now because they would have had the trailers and everything up. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. And now, I mean, I just saw the news. I don't know if you guys saw this. 543 Regal cinemas in the U.S. are closing. It was talked about a little bit yesterday, and I guess today it was finalized that the company that runs them, they're called Cine something. They're from the UK. They're closing theaters over in the UK and in Ireland, and they're closing all their Regals here, which is 543 of them. I think in the US there's maybe 3,000 or something theaters. I can't remember if that's an accurate number or not. Because they always say, oh, it opened this weekend on 3,100 screens. And that's usually where I see the number is between 3,000 and 3,200, I think. Could be wrong. It could be more. I may just be remembering wrong. But I was thinking, if 500, let's say there's 3,000 movie theaters in the US and 543 of them just went away, that's about a sixth of your theaters gone. And those could play multiple screenings of movies. So I was sitting there going wow, I think the days of movies making $1 billion might be over, because if there's no place to play them in the theaters, then how are you going to make all that money? How are you going to make up for the fact that 500 movie theaters are gone? So I was just thinking that Hollywood was just so, they're we'll release it next year. No big deal. No big deal. And James Bond was supposed to come out next month. And they're nah, we're going to push it back to April of next year. And because they did that, that was the last straw. Movie theaters were if we can make some money, we don't need to make a ton on that movie, but just some money, that could help us keep the lights on until 2021. Once that movie went away, they were just okay, we're closing. So now there's less theaters next year for movies to come out in, and we're not even at the end of 2020 yet. So for all we know, more theaters are going to close down soon. So that's going to be a real bummer, because then it'll make you wonder, would they even release Venom in the theaters next summer if there's only 1,200 movie theaters in the U.S. where there used to be 3,000? It's definitely a conversation that people hopefully are having in Hollywood. That's for sure. Thank you for the 7 thumbs up, by the way. When I saw the teaser trailer for Venom, I was skeptical about the film, but as time went by, I was getting excited for it since they were showing the character in later trailers. Yeah, that first trailer was a major teaser. I think they were mainly trying to set the tone. But then, as you see when we saw the final movie, the tone, it didn't match the movie. So I kind of, I think they were still working on the editing of like what they were going to include, and like what takes they were going to include to flesh out their version of the movie. And I'll be honest with you, the movie does have problems in my opinion. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10. It was my final rating. But I feel like the stuff that was strong was really strong, particularly Tom's commitment to the character of Eddie. And what I hope to see in the next movie is everybody else's commitment to their characters respectively, and all get on the same page, because I feel like some actors were like, they just thought they were in different movies. And I think that's probably because when they film things, they usually do a couple different cuts. Like, hey, let's try it one this way, maybe a little bit more comedic, maybe a little bit more serious. And it just felt like in the editing room, they kind of were like, all right, let's use the serious one here and the comedic one here. And it kind of had I think that's why a lot of people felt like it was like a 90s or early 2000s superhero movie, because it just kind of felt like tonally a little all over the place. But I think that worked for the movie's benefit, because it felt now like almost like a love letter to those kind of movies. But I'm curious, because I doubt Andy Serkis is going to want that tone. So I'm kind of curious to see what his vision for the future of this franchise is. And I hope if the second movie is a success, I hope he stays on as director and continues the franchise. Drake says, I know I have a Regal in my town, Beaver Creek, and I'm PO'd. I would imagine, because now look, if you're in an area where you're like, oh, I used to go to Regal, it's 10 miles away from me. If that's gone now, then you got to go, okay, well, the next theater is 40 miles from me. Am I really going to drive 40 miles to see a movie? And some of you might, be like, hey, it's Venom, I got to go see it, or it's Avatar, or whatever movies you're into. But for me, like, I don't even go to, you could put a movie theater at the front of my neighborhood, at the front of the apartment complex I live in. You could just put a movie theater up there, and I'd say, nah, too far. I really just don't like going to the movie theaters. But I will to see Venom, obviously, and Morbius. Marvel needs a retcon director for the bad stuff. Is that a real job in comics? I don't think so. I mean, what you hope for in comics is that you have a good team of editors and writers who know the lore enough to where they can respectfully retcon something, but it's hard. It's hard to respectfully retcon. You can tiptoe around it, do different things, you can try your best, but someone's always going to call you out for it, and it's a lose-lose situation. So I don't ultimately fault people when they retcon too much, although it matters what they retcon. And so for like in Donny Cates's, for example, like when he retconned Eddie Brock's sister, I'm like, well, I know she wasn't in the comics that much, but she felt like an essential part of his upbringing, which helps shape his viewpoint on society, and it helps structure his broken compass, why he thinks like he was getting blamed by his sister for his mom dying. Imagine growing up and having an older sibling just being like, you're the reason mom died, when because Eddie's mom, she got pregnant, had Eddie, and she died during childbirth, and his sister kept saying, you killed mom. That's got, just for being born, like that way, that's got to do something psychologically to you, and it could help explain why Eddie is sometimes a broken compass, and why he has a skewed viewpoint on what is right and wrong. And so and why he might be scared to take risks or do anything, because he just being born, his mother died in that process. So it might explain why he's even afraid to really venture out and do stuff, or go outside his shell sometimes, or change. So I just think those are all interesting things. It's probably too deep for a lot of people when it comes to Venom, but not all that has to hit the page, for readers, but it should be there. That presence should be there, that you know the character that intimately, to where it helps you write them, and so when you take away things from their life, like cancer and his sister and things like that, I'm just kind of like, well, those helped shape him to be the person he is now. So to take them away and make them be like a fake memory or whatever the hell Donnie's doing, it's like, I don't know. That's, to me, it's not a retcon I'm a fan of too much. But these characters have 80 years of history, a lot of them. Venom has 30 years, so it's hard to not retcon sometimes. Sometimes you gotta, but it's gotta serve the story the best. And really, when I'm reading Donnie's Venom stuff, I'm like, I don't see any reason why his sister can't be there. Even in Venom 28, I forgot to mention this in my review. In Venom 28, spoilers for that issue, uh, I think Anne is like talking about like, oh, I was mad at your father because at your funeral I saw him, and he even admitted to never trying to reach out to you or help you all these years, but it was just his father. I'm like, so even in an alternate universe, his sister Mary couldn't exist. Like, God, like I don't know. So that got under my skin. It's like it's almost like Donnie's actively going out of his way to retcon most of the female characters in Eddie's life. But I'm glad he brought Anne back, so that's good. Marvel's bringing back Jamie Foxx's Electro, but he's not being blue. I can't believe that headline. I'll be honest with you. That is almost what made me. So on Friday night, like I said, I was hoping that I wouldn't. Well, I want to work a full day. Like when they say, "Hey, you're here," noon to 8 p.m. It's like, okay, good. I need those hours. I need to pay bills. I need to, all that stuff. So I want those hours, but sometimes I don't expect to get them because it's hard. You have to literally make money every hour, and depending on how much you make, that decides if you're going to work another hour. So that's what my job is. It's like if I make it a full day, it's a success, but it's also like exhausting for me because that means I worked hard all day. Like I'm very energetic and all this stuff, and that's hard for me to do being an aneurysm survivor and battling fatigue, and I have a knee brace and a back brace, and all this stuff. So it's tough. It's like I look like an extra from Running Man, especially when I wear my helmet. So it's tough. It's a lot of work for me, and whereas a regular person could put in 100% and do a great job, to match their 100%, I got to do a little bit more. Like I got to hit like 110 or 120 because it's just that much more of a strain on me to get through the day. So naturally, when I'm done with the day, I just want to go home and like I literally fill my tub up and I dump ice in it, and then I take just the coldest bath in the world, and then I get out, and I go and lay in my room and I put a heating pad on my back and I fall asleep that way after I medicate the shit out of myself. So it's I was actually someone I was like kind of showing my friend like what I do like when I come home from work, and he was like, "Who the hell are you, Ben Affleck?" When he was Daredevil, and I was like, "What?" He goes, "He comes home, he's popping pills, and he's like, like he's got cuts all over his back and everything." And I just started laughing. I'm like, "Well, I'm not that cool because Daredevil's a badass. Like I'm just out like standing for 9 hours a day and like just playing games and being energetic and trying to keep guests happy and stuff." So it's like I'm definitely not fighting crime and getting my teeth kicked in, but so anyway, what I was saying was like after that, I wanted to come home Friday night and I wanted to talk about Venom 2 and that it was going to be the day that it was supposed to come out. And then I saw that news about Electro and I go, wait, what? I'm like, Jamie Foxx? Why Jamie Foxx? Like, why is he coming back? Isn't he playing Spawn? Like, or is that movie, or is this like a way for them to like, like, are they not doing Spawn now? Like, I don't know. There's like so much stuff going on. So I had like a million questions when I saw that headline. But I thought that was crazy. So I guess he's going to come back and just play a different version of Electro, an MCU version of him, which could be cool because then maybe the costume will look a little bit more like that was my favorite thing about Far From Home. Is that what it's called? The second Spider-Man movie. I loved Mysterio. He looked so comic accurate. It was amazing. So if they do something like that with Electro, where he's got like a helmet and there's like bolts coming off the helmet, I'm 100% down for that. And I like Jamie Foxx; he's a good actor. And I just thought that last movie, like, I just think Mark Webb's a terrible director. Like, unless he's making like some little indie flick where like two kids, like, or younger people, or like 20-year-olds are in love with each other. Like, he's just terrible at making movies, I feel. So he was the wrong guy for Spider-Man. So making, him blue and doing all that, I'm like, I know they were going off the Ultimate Universe a little bit, is just not good. Actually, the Ultimate Universe, I think Electro had a big purple costume with like, like Dormammu, like collar on it. But then I think later there was like a scene where he's naked and he's just blue during Sinister Six, Ultimate Sinister Six. I can't remember. So much comic crap. I can't remember. Is the Infinity Saga box set worth the money? I have no idea what's in it. Is it like all 23 Marvel movies? How much would I pay for all 23 Marvel movies? I would probably pay $200 at the most. And that's if I had the money, which I don't, so I'm not going to buy it. So I would say if it's over $200, not to me, it's not worth it. Unless it comes with like something crazy. I don't know. Like if it comes like in a giant box with like an Infinity Gauntlet that lights up, or something. I don't know. I mean, even then, I still don't know. It'd be worth it. What's up, Cottle? How's it going? Good to see you. I hope Venom 2 doesn't get pushed back to 2022. I mean, here's the thing: is if they don't release it next summer, because here's the thing: is like it's coming out like next summer. It has a date like what's it, June or July, and I just don't know how many movie theaters will be left at that time. So I think Hollywood needs to start coming up with their plan B. They need to start embracing VOD, and they need to start embracing other channels, because I think even some places are starting to shut down again and stuff. So the thing is, like, we have no choice but to take this virus seriously. I mean, it's infected. It's killed what 200,000 plus people just in the U.S. Worldwide, so much more, in the millions. It's infected our president and most of his cabinet and people and closest supporters and employees and aides and everything. Like all those people that work with him, they're all infected right now. During like an election, like during debates, like it's like crunch hour for them. And this is a very serious virus, and it can hurt a lot of people, and more so kill people. Yes, there's a lot of people that are kind of immune or just don't show symptoms, but they can then pass it to someone who won't be as strong, and they'll die from it. So we have to take this somewhat more seriously. Like maybe we don't have to go to some extremes that we've had to go through, but that's debatable. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a smart person. I don't know anything about science other than what I read in comic books, which is comic book science, not real science. So I don't know. I just know that people are really hurting right now in the world and in our country, and not just from COVID, but from businesses being closed down and jobs going away for good. Disney just fired 28,000 people, one of which was like my uncle, who's been working for Disney for 30 years, and he's gone. He's out. And I think his whole division or something was shut down. So it's just, things are bad. Like things are bad in a lot of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of good still going on. Sure. I mean, nothing's all bad ever, really. But it's bad. Like it's struggling time for a lot of people. And I don't know. It's tough to see what everyone's going through, and with as far as movies coming out, like who knows how many theaters will be left open in next year and next summer for Venom 2. So let's say right now, hypothetically, there's 3,000 theaters, 500 just went away. So we have 2,500 theaters now. So that might prevent a movie from like Venom from reaching $1 billion with that much less theaters to go to. Now, let's say between now and then another 500 or 1,000 theaters go away, and we're down to 2,000 or 1,500 movie theaters in the U.S. That will hurt Venom 2 from even probably breaking even. That'll probably be the best it could do, is break even. So these studios have to really start looking at this and start coming up with alternative plans for releasing these movies directly to people, because they were just so cavalier, like, we'll just release it next year, no big deal, we'll push all of our movies back to next year. And it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Do you think these movie theaters were just going to sit there and be okay with no money coming in? Like the arrogance of that, like they were just, we'll move it and we'll hope for the best. And it's like, well, now here we are. The best is far from happening. It's the worst. So I hope it, whatever form it takes, I don't want it to get pushed back again. I know that guy who's head of that chairman, Sony guy we talked about recently, he was like, I'll push the movie back till 2023 if I have to, or whatever he said. I hope that guy is wrong. I hope he's not that stubborn, because these movies need to come out in some way, and like you got to start making money on something. Like you may not make the money you were supposed to make on it, but I also think that should, this could bring a change to Hollywood that I've always talked about. Like, I was talking about Resident Evil recently. I had pitched a Resident Evil TV show like a year ago or something, not to Constantine Films. They're the ones who own it, but I was just getting a script out there. I had written a pilot for a show, and I had a low budget in mind. I really did, like compared to what most people would think a Resident Evil show would be. And I think this new show that they're going to do it has like a stupid budget, like a movie budget. And I'm just like, what a waste of money. Like, why do these studios are so willing to throw away money for no reason? Like Resident Evil does not need to be this big. You guys are going too crazy with it. You need to condense, make it smaller, make it more intimate, and That's what Resident Evil is. Like Resident Evil 7 was the #1 selling Resident Evil game of all time, and it's literally a guy in a house in the bayou. Like that's the game. You're in a house, and there's like a crazy Southern family is trying to eat you. It's like that's that simple. So it's just funny to me when they just blow it up and go crazy. I'm just like, you don't need it. You don't need $150 million to make a Resident Evil TV show. You could do it for like 30 million and do 6 episodes or 4 episodes, and it could be probably pretty good. And then you could make your money back because that's what you're supposed to do with movies. So maybe this will change how they do these big budget movies, and maybe they'll try to be more creative and think about different ways to do them. But with Venom, whether it's VOD or theater, whatever the release date is next year, June, July, I hope they just release the dang thing. I hope it doesn't get pushed back to October because, I mean, yeah, it's a good Halloween film, but there's already other movies that have been pushed back to October, so it has competition. I think they picked a spot where they don't have a lot of competition, so it could be good for the movie. I can't wait for Tobey Maguire to be Spider-Man again. Yeah, everybody thinks that, and Andrew Garfield's coming back because of the Jamie Foxx news, and those are good theories. I don't know. I haven't been paying that much attention, so I don't know. R.I.P. Kuwait Emir. I am from Kuwait. Oh man, R.I.P. Kuwait. What does that mean? What happened to Kuwait? I'm behind on real world news too. Hey, what's up, Ryan? How's it going? 2021 is packed with films. It really is. All the movies from this year and all the movies that are already coming out next year are now all just crammed together. So I don't know what hope they think they're going to make money next year anyway, if everything's just coming out a week apart. So I don't know. 70 millimeter IMAX I went to was packed, so there's still hope. I mean, yeah, there's still hope. I mean, but not. I mean, yeah, okay. Hope for what though? Like 543 movie theaters just went away. So no, there's no hope for them. Like those people don't have their jobs anymore. That company is probably going to go under. And they're a company that affects the U.S., the U.K., and Ireland. So no, there's no hope for them. Actually, they're gone. The hope is over for them. Now, if you're talking about hope for the movie industry, okay, sure. But like I said, if you have 500, if they needed 300 or if they needed 3,000 movie theaters to make $1 billion, what do you think happens when 500 movie theaters go away? They might not make $1 billion because it's playing in less screens, less theaters, spread out in less places. So what happens? And that's just now. We're in October. What happens if by the end of January nothing changes and we're all like a lot of places are on lockdown and a lot of businesses haven't reopened or they did and it got bad again or whatever? What if another 500 movie theaters go away? Studios aren't going to make $1 billion off of 2,000 screens, for the most part. So yeah, I know what you mean about the hope thing, but there's no hope for the people that are already lost. What's up, Venom? I'm kind of bummed this Marvel Spider-Man is coming to an end. It's such a good show. What do we got? One more episode left. Did you hear about John Cena is supposed to play Sandman in Spider-Man 3? Really? John Cena, huh? I mean, wow. Why so many villains? Oh, Sinister Six. I answered my own dumb question. I hate watching kids' videos. Oh, well, hopefully you're in the right place then. Theories of multiverse news every day from Marvel. I know that's the thing is Marvel and DC both drank the same Kool-Aid for multiverse stuff. I still am. Every time I hear news about the Flash movie, I shake my head because I'm like, wait, you're gonna do a Flash movie, but now all these rumors are that like there's gonna be like 4 Batman in it and like 5 Superman, and I'm just like, why? Like, why do that at all? Hey, what's up, man? Hey, I was just talking. You came in late. Have you watched? I haven't watched Drag Cross Concrete yet. But Brawl and Cell Block. I was telling them earlier right when I started the stream, I had to re-rent it because the other night I fell asleep and I didn't get to finish the movie. So I was gonna start it and watch the last hour of it, and then I said, you know what? I better do this live stream first in case I fall asleep. Then I'm off for the next 3 days. So I'm halfway through the movie, and I will do a live stream on Thursday. Because I don't go into work on Friday till noon. So on Thursday, I will do a live stream, and I will, if I can get the other movie in, I will. But on Thursday, I'll do a live stream, and I'll talk about Brawl and Cell Block 99. But yeah, I opened the stream talking about it. I'm like, where's Skull? Is Skull in here? I go, I swear I'm getting to your movie, man. So yeah, the other day, I rented it for like $2.99, and then it went away. And I was like, I was like 2 hours late. I'm like, okay, I'm like, just wait for another day where you're off. And I worked all weekend and I worked full shifts all weekend, except for yesterday. So yesterday was my fourth day in a row working, which with my health is really tough to get through 3 days, let alone 4 days. And then I had today. So today was fifth day. Yesterday they asked, like, because it was raining yesterday, and they were like, hey, we're not going to make a ton of money today. Does anyone want to go home? And I was like, please send me home. I was like, this is day 4 for me. I don't feel good. I got a knee pad, a knee strap on. I got what are they called? The harness for your back. Like I'm wearing one of those, a back strap. And I'm like, please let me go home and rest. And I came right home, walked my dog, and I slept from 4 in the afternoon yesterday till 9:30 p.m. Called my mom, then came back in and went back to sleep. That's how out of it I was. So today I woke up and I was like, all right, let's rent the movie, and then tonight you're gonna watch it, and then you'll do your live stream. And then I got home and I flipped it, and I was like, let's do the live stream first, and then we'll watch the movie. So yeah, DC is winning what? Because like I said, 4 Batman and 5 Superman in a Flash movie sounds stupid to me. I feel that there were more scenes of Venom biting heads off in the film, but they cut those down because they wanted PG-13. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, so when you say like you feel like there's more, I mean, I don't know how to comment on that because because that, you don't know if there were more. I don't know if there was more scenes. I don't know if that movie filmed an R-rated version. I don't know. I know there was some rumors about it, but I don't think that came from any source, because if you asked Avi Arad or Matt Tolmach or any of the producers of the first Venom movie, every interview they said, they were like, we're not out to make a rated R movie. Because from the beginning, they were hoping this was going to be successful enough to cross over with Spider-Man, and they didn't want to cross over a rated R franchise with Spider-Man. So as far as I know, there was nothing in it that would have made it rated R, but I don't know. I don't know at all. You kind of remind me and look like my 8th grade history teacher, Mr. Gogular. He was always cool and chill. Hey, what's up? Cool. Hey, a history teacher. That's awesome. That was the only class I was good at, was history. I sucked at math. I sucked at science, especially. I always failed science. Always. Like anything that could go wrong. Like if they're like, hey, this is how you dissect a frog. And it's like, oh, I chopped its leg off. Is that what I was supposed to do? And they're like, no, what? You go down its belly. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I sucked at science. That's how bad I was. But history, I love history. I love people. Like I like even when they're stupid and panicky and whiny and kill each other. Like I'm fascinated by the stories of man. Like so I get swept up in it. So when I hear about things like character like people like Genghis Khan or Judas Iscariot or even Jesus, like these are all neat stories to me. Like I eat them up. So history was great, and I had a history teacher that I still talk to sometimes nowadays. We every once in a while. It's not like we're best friends or anything, but every once in a while, send him a text or something or email. His name was Thomas Riddle, and he was the first. Like according to my mom, she was telling me the story that he was like the first teacher that I actually like took an interest in and like talking to, because mostly she said I was the kind of student that would come in, not do a single piece of homework. I would ace every test and I would end up like a C or a D student. And she's like, that's how you were. She's like, you hated homework, you hated the daily grind of things. She's like, because you used to be able to learn something really quickly, hold it in your brain and everything. She goes, so you could pass your tests, like in a science test or whatever. She goes, you could remember enough to pass your test. And then after that, all the information went out of your head, and you would just pass the test. You make A's on your test and fail all your homework assignments. And only in classes because some classes would be like, oh, if you fail homework, that's like 60% of your grade. She's like, those are the only classes you would do more homework in, because she's like, you always it's like you purposely were a D student all your life, except in history where I always made A's. But I had a teacher named Coach Riddle. He was my coach, and he was my gym. He was my coach, and he was also my history teacher, my gym teacher. He was my history teacher, and he taught us the Roman Empire through Star Wars, like the comparison. He was comparing Star Wars to the Roman Empire, and then he was comparing. He was teaching us about World War I and World War II through Indiana Jones, particularly the TV show Young Indiana Jones, starring Sean Patrick Flannery. And I highly recommend that show if you've never seen it. It's awesome. Any wife or kids? I mean, no. I mean, look at my apartment. Neither. I am. I have. I'm the kid that lives here. Um, no, I don't. I don't. I've tried the relationship thing a couple times, but ultimately, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not very good at reading into things and signs of people, or like what the other person wants. Like I don't know. Like I can't figure out what my disconnect is. I'm sure it's a problem on my end. I'm pretty convinced of that. And so after a couple of attempts of trying, I just gave up. And so I just live here with my dog, and that's it. And I'm just kind of happy with that. I don't really. I don't even try to connect like that anymore with people. There was a couple, like I said, there's been a couple times where I tried to flirt or tried to like tell someone I was interested in them, and then if it was met with, oh, I'm interested in you too, and we tried it out, it might not work out, or they would just not respond, like, oh, yeah, that's nice, thanks for the compliment. And you're like, okay, they're not interested. But that was it. It was just like a couple attempts, and yeah, it's not, that has not gone anywhere. So Skullman says Joker 2019 is the best movie DC has produced in years. I could somewhat relate to Arthur Fleck. I gotta say, considering I have autism, even though I'm not a psychopathic killer, well, yeah, not everyone who's autistic, obviously, like that movie wasn't trying to portray that, but yeah, I gotta say, Joker is a character I don't even like that much. When I think of all my favorite Batman villains, Joker is not even in my top 10. I don't think. I just don't care about that character at all. But that movie was awesome, and I thought Arthur Fleck was great. And I connected to Arthur Fleck in that movie in a really terrible way. Actually, it made me cry. I was watching a movie in the theater with my roommate Victor when I was living with Victor. I think my review might still be up on the channel. But there's a scene where they reveal what happened to Arthur as a little boy, like the kind of abuse he got. And I was in the theater, and my friend Vic, who knows that story, he immediately turned his head to me in the theater, and I just, as soon as I felt his eyes touch me, water just like came out of my eyes. And he was just like, "Are you okay? Like, do you want to leave?" And I'm like, I was kind of like, "Just leave me alone. Just like, don't look at me. It'll pass. It'll pass." But seeing like that scene broke, like really got in hard, and it was hard to shake. And for that movie had like this almost like a profound effect on me in a way. And I was like, okay, I know it's aping off of like all these great movies that I've seen when I was younger, but I connected to it in a way I didn't think I was gonna. And it made me have a little bit more empathy for a character like Joker, who I feel like is just psychotic to be psychotic. But this movie didn't really portray him that way. It showed someone who struggled, um, and it was heartbreaking to watch him fail at saving himself. Do you have to take summer school from science? I did one year, actually. I think I did. Um, yeah, I think my mom was telling me, I think 11th grade going into 12th grade, I failed science. So I had to take it for summer school so that I could officially be a 12th grader or something. So yeah, I did fail science so bad one year, I think 11th grade. But I think I hated the teacher. So, and that's the thing is like sometimes, so according to my mom, so like I said, I grew up, work ethic is very big to me, even now post aneurysm, but I guess it's always been kind of a part of me where I expect people to work harder than they're really supposed to because I work harder than I'm supposed to. And like I said, even before aneurysm, I was like that. Doesn't mean I always did a good job. It's just like, and it doesn't mean I was smart about it. Like they always say, work smarter, not harder. But I just always worked hard. And so if I saw a teacher that I thought was a lazy teacher, I'm like, hey, teach us something. Like, and I would get in their face, and usually that would lead to me not doing well in their classroom because then there would just be a lot of animosity between us. Um, what's up, Pikachu? How's it going? Thank you guys for the 12 thumbs up. I like blood for movies. It's fun. It's scary. I have blood in like if you like blood in movies, you should watch Evil Dead the remake, and probably Army of Darkness as well, and any of those movies, and watch Evil Dead TV show also. If you like watch Sam Raimi stuff. It's comically bloody. DC is in panic mode again, never-ending friendly rivalry between Marvel and DC. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about panic mode. I think the main thing they're in panic mode over right now is that a movie that they didn't really want to come out is going to come out next year in the Snyder Cut, and then one of the actors who was in that movie is now calling them out for mistreatment and stuff, and calling them out on their their jabs at him in the press. So I think they're more like that's more of a pain in the butt to them. And also releasing movies. I mean, they just lost money on Tenet, not a ton, but just enough, But I'm still glad they put the movie out there, and so I'm glad New Mutants came out because that provided some income for theaters and it kept them open for like an extra month or two. So that's good. I mean, movies still need to come out even if they don't make $1 billion. But the problem is so I think some of these studios, they need to make a sacrifice. They need to go like, hey, you know what? Let's release our movie. It's not going to make money, but it'll at least keep these theaters open another 6 months, 3 months, maybe 2 months, and then that means they'll still be around next year. But because none of them acted. And they all got afraid after Tenet didn't do well and everything that they were like, all right, we're not going to release our movies in theaters. And then boom, 500 theaters go away. So that's cause and effect. Just saw Death Battle's new video today. Who's in it? That's cool. Show me your Venom mask and Venom action figures. Well, first of all, you can't just demand things of me. But, where's the mask at? There's a mask up there. Those are Fantastic Four action figures. There's some paintings, prints up there. I can't remember I'm blanking on their name. Dang it, I want to give them a shout out, and I'm blanking on their name. There's some X-Men stuff over there. Venom. I don't know the words to that song. So, there you go. And then I also have these Spider-Gwen or Gwenom right there. Gwenom Funko Pop and Scream Funko Pop. These are from my little brother. So those were gifts from him. I got those. Like I said, Marvel Legend-wise, I got 6-armed Spider-Man, which I'm so happy about. I also got the Prowler, one of my favorite characters in Spider-Man lore, Hobie Brown. This is the Hobie Brown version. This is not the Miles Morales version of his uncle. Although if they do make a figure of that, which I think they might be, I don't want to talk too much about that, but there is some Spider-Verse figures coming out, and I know there's a Miles in there, and I think there's a Spider-Gwen in there with Spider-Ham. I don't know for sure, but I would love it if they did a Miles Morales version of his uncle version of Prowler from that movie, because I thought Prowler was really cool looking in that movie. And he was a nice blend between Uncle Aaron's design from the comics and the Hobie Brown version. So I was happy about that. And then the other figure I got here, let me make her COVID compliant. We have Silk, who comes with a bandana that you can put over her mouth. And she comes with another head that has the bandana printed on her mouth as well. But this was a figure that was released during Hasbro Con, like 2 weekends ago, I think it was. And you just go online, choose $20, and she was a fan vote. So fans voted for, I did not vote for this figure, I should say. I voted for Lady Sif because I'm a huge Lady Sif fan. But when I saw that Silk one, I was like, okay, fine. Well, I need a Silk figure anyway for the Spider-Man collection. So boom, I got Silk as well. And plus Silk, her name's close enough to Siike. So, but I got to read more about her story. We're going to do, because I'm by the time we get to episode maybe I was going to say 500, we're well past 500. By the time we get to episode about 700 or so, or say even 750 at the latest, we're going to be completely through all of Venom's history, minus maybe a couple alternate universe stories, but we'll pretty much be done with the entire history of Venom in the comics, in the cartoons, and probably the video games too by then. And then we'll have covered all the Venom 2 movie news. So if they start working on a Venom 3 movie, there's just not going to be a lot of Venom content for me to make anymore, because we'll have gone through most of all of it. So only when merchandise comes out, we'll be talking about Venom. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably shift the show, because we're already starting to do it with Morbius. I'll probably shift the show a little bit and include Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Verse stuff, which we've already kind of done with Spider-Verse 1. So I'll probably start including those two worlds into the Venom vlog show. So that way I constantly have at least movie content. And if I ever want to talk about a Miles Morales comic or a Spider-Man comic, or a Morbius comic, I can do that on the Venom vlog, and we can keep episodes, pumping out. So just to give you guys a heads up on that, that's my plan. Side note: Spider-Man 850 in 2 days. I know, and I'm gonna put my review up probably Wednesday morning of Sins Rising, like parts 1 through 4 or 3. I'll probably put those up on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll read, there was a one-shot called The Sins of Norman Osborn. I'll reread that and issue 850, and then I'll make another video on that and try to get that up this weekend. So that way we can fully catch up on Spider-Man stuff. I know there's a comic girl out there for you. It's hard to find love. I mean, I don't even know if I'd want to date someone who likes comic books, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever have, actually. I don't think I dated a nerd girl or two before, but pre-ANEURYSM. I know post-ANEURYSM, I mean, maybe like one girl I was kind of talking to, and we were trying to connect on that level. Like, she's a big comic book fan, but typically that's not the kind of stuff I look for in someone else. I don't always look for shared interests. I actually typically will look for things we don't have in common. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm still single. Maybe I should look for someone who likes more of the stuff I like. But typically I don't do that. But I'm still figuring things out regarding who I am and what I want out of a relationship. And until I do, I don't want to drag anyone into that mess. So yeah, I don't really worry about it too much. Plus with my health, I don't know. I just don't think about it really. Not anymore anyway. Cabin in the Woods is pretty gory. That's a good one. Today I locked my room. I was going crazy. It was almost being like Heath Ledger. I don't get that reference, but okay. Oh boy, that's DB Vid. What's up, Jazz Carnage? How's it going? Skullman says, my top 3 horror films are John Carpenter's The Thing, Evil Dead 2, and Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. That's awesome. I love The Thing. Came out in 1982, which is the year I was born, along with Tron and E.T., I think. And I too love John Carpenter's The Thing. It's probably the best remake ever. And I love Evil Dead. Actually, I love Evil Dead 2. Is a lot of fun. I don't know if it's in my top 3 horror movies, but I really do love it. What are my Predator? I would say Predator is my #1 horror film of all time. I love that movie. And then The Thing would probably be a close second. Sorry, I have like a pain in my neck right here. It's like a crick in my neck. So if you see me mess with my neck, it's just I must have slept funny on it last night. Do I watch comiccast.com or Cosmic Wonder? So one of you guys recommended Cosmic Wonder to me one time. I actually went to his channel and watched a video where he just full on like misreported about Venom. Like he was like reporting on Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And so I started looking at his content and I'm like, well, he seems like a nice guy, but the reason he has so many subscribers is because every tiny rumor that comes out, he makes a video about, which makes him, just like, I know he's just a guy giving his opinion, but I feel like you have an obligation. When you cross a certain amount of subscribers, you should try to only really bring them, like your best, like do a little research, bring real information to them, bring real stories to them, try to inform them, because when you go out there and perpetuate a lie or a rumor or whatever, you're just doing what the person who started it wanted, which is they wanted their lie to get out there and spread around. And so I find his content very sloppy, like for some, but it makes sense it's sloppy because, like I said, he's got a ton of subscribers, and usually people who have a ton of subscribers, they make sloppy content most of the time. It's either just them talking over a video that they've already pre-edited, or it's a reaction channel where they just do a reaction, like 2 or 3 reactions a day, and they just garner fans off the backs of Linkin Park and movie trailers. And I'm seeing people on their Patreons like reacting to full anime episodes, and it's like them and the whole anime episode in the screen. So they're just giving away the episode of the show like for free essentially. And I like some reactions. I like watching reactions from time to time, especially when it's like someone's first time hearing a band that I love, like Tool or something, or first time listening to Elvis or something like that. Like I like seeing people's faces light up when they react to something that I love. That's great. Reaction videos are great, but when you only do that, I just think you're lazy. Like I don't really have a lot of respect for reaction channels. And I mean people who just wake up every day and just post reactions. Like that's all they do. And then even if they're like, oh, but I got a gaming channel too. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's just like a really long reaction. Like I have a gaming channel too. And that's sometimes what it feels like, is that you're just doing a really long reaction. So to me, I don't tend to have a lot of respect for that. But so as far as Cosmic Wonder goes, like he seems like a nice guy, but I don't really like. I watch a couple of his videos, and I'm like, I can't listen to people with a platform that big that don't put the work into their videos. I just can't do it. But I talked to him a couple times on Twitter, and I actually wrote him a message. I said, hey man, if you ever get another piece of information from Venom 2 that you aren't sure if it's true or not, you can message me and I'll look at it and I'll give you my best guess whether it's true or not. And he did that a couple times. He's a really nice guy. Like I said, I can't remember his name, but he was like, he wrote me a couple times like, hey, do you know about this? And I'm like, you know what? I haven't heard anything about that. I'm going to say it's probably BS, but but don't take my word for it. This is my opinion, and I mostly go off my opinion or my gut instinct. I don't. It's not like I have connections or sources that I can really check, and I'm pretty open about that. There's a couple times where people will like give me information, but like I always say, I don't want to know stuff. I want to react to things for the first time with you guys as fans, so we can share that together. That's what this is. That's what we are, Venom, right? We're all supposed to be kind of on the same page as far as that. And occasionally, I might bring a piece of news to you guys that's like not really a scoop, but that no one else is talking about. So I like to dig and do research, and other people just like to react to everything, and they react to news, and it's just all that. And I'm like, well, so his stuff, he seems like a nice guy, so I don't have anything against him. I'm sure he's trying his best, but a comic book cast dude. I've seen a couple of his videos in the past, like years ago when he was kind of first starting to get big. And I watched a couple of his videos, and I'm like, oh, he seems like he could be a nice guy. But then I think he blocked me on Twitter. Like I started talking to him on Twitter, and he got into it with somebody, and then I was like, hey, is that the proper way you should be responding? Or I can't remember what I was saying. And then it got a little nasty, and so I was like, hey, he said something like, oh, you're just a Snyder Cut fanboy, and I'm like, no, I'm not actually. I don't like the Zack Snyder movies at all. And then I said my insult to him was, but I'd rather go watch a Zack Snyder superhero movie than watch your channel. And then he blocked me. I don't think he blocked me for that. I think someone else is coming in to try to back me up, which I hate when people do that. And they came in and they told the guy, they were like, F you, you stupid idiot. Like, I hope you die or something. Like came in really strong. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can insult somebody without calling them names like that. Like I told him I'd rather watch a Zack Snyder movie than watch his YouTube channel. That was insult enough. But that's not that really shouldn't hurt his feelings. He shouldn't care what I think. But when that other person came in and tagged us both in it and started swearing, I think he was like, all right, I'm blocking this dude. And I even said, I was like, whoa, no. Don't call him names like that. Like that's not cool. And don't come in backing me up. Like I'm a grown up, if the guy schools me on something, then I'll take the L, but yeah, I don't have anything personally against any of those guys, but comic book cast, I can't really watch his stuff. Cosmic Wonder, I can watch a few videos, but not a ton of them. But I like that he's trying, so got to give the guy credit. Are the only one who prefers Felicia Hardy to both Mary Jane and Gwen? Honestly, I hope the day will come when Felicia gets her big screen debut. I hope so too. I don't think you're the only person. I really wanted Peter to be with Felicia for a long time. But my favorite thing about their relationship is the second she found out Peter Parker was Spider-Man, she was turned off by Spider-Man, which I thought was awesome. She had a crush on Spider-Man, and when she found out it was Peter Parker, she was like, ugh. And I thought that was awesome, because normally that doesn't happen in comics. They don't really, or in fiction, they try to have the guy get the girl that's too hot for him. Well, Peter already had that kind of with Gwen and Mary Jane. They're like two girls that are kind of a little too hot for him, a little out of his league. But he's such a nice guy, and he means well. So, and there's a confidence to Peter Parker on some level when he's Spider-Man. And I think that's what Felicia was attracted to. So I always love that relationship. But I too hope we get to see something with Felicia. Venom versus Krona. What's up with Rooster Teeth pairing symbiotes against anime characters? Oh, that's the newest thing? I don't know. I think you remember. Yeah, you said Carnage versus some anime character last time. I think Lonely Symbiote was telling me that too. I don't really watch a lot of their content, but I think I did watch. I think they did one with Winter Soldier recently with Red Hood that I was like, oh, I'll check it out. I got 2 minutes in. I'm like, yeah, okay, I've seen enough of this. Do you try online dating like Omega or Tinder? I do not. No. Like I said, I don't think about it. I don't sit around and go oh, I hate being alone. Actually, my favorite thing to do is come home from work and just have my dog. I pet him, feed him, take him for a walk. We come back in, I give him a treat. He's chewing on a bone. I have TV on, or I'm editing or whatever. I like my life like that. I don't really. If I want to come home and talk to people, I do live streams. I'm very selfish in regards like that. But like I said, I have to, there's too many things on me that I got to work on to, that's the thing is I think a lot of people jump into relationships, and that's fine, because if you're strong enough in the relationship, if it's meant to last, you will grow together and you'll share each other's flaws and good deeds back and forth, and you'll learn to grow as people, and that'll be good for you. But me, I kind of, I don't know where I sit on that spectrum. So until I figure that out, because I've already tried it, like twice now in the past 10 years, and it didn't work. And like I said, I feel like it's some of that's on me. So I got to work on that first before I dive back into that. What up, Siike? Happy Venomversary. Happy Venomversary, Venom Vault. I enjoyed the Death Battle animes are so OP. I mean, they really are. I think that's why a lot of younger people like watch them, because like they're so OP. Like when you watch these anime characters fight, like Dragon Ball Z was my first thing. I mean, I watched anime, old school anime, like Battle for the Planets and stuff like that. Like that was kind of intro anime back in the day. Even Transformers a little bit. But and then Headmasters big time. So I'm like old school anime stuff and Macross, things like that. Robotech and early Gundam, like very early Gundam. But then Dragon Ball came along. I think I was in high school. I must have been in high school. It was like, I think I was like in high school, like graduating high school when Dragon Ball hit the States, and it was on Adult Swim or something, Cartoon Network something, and that show like took over, and that was literally just a bunch of like steroided superheroes fighting each other for 50 episodes. And nowadays you got like My Hero Academia, which I call My Hero Macadamia Nuts. And then also there's like One Punch Man, who's literally can beat people with one punch. It's like, what are the struggles of these characters? But it's just that they're cool, And I know One Punch Man has struggles, but it's kind of funny to me when there is a whole generation out there that is just purely raised on anime, and it's interesting because I think in like another 10 or 15 years, storytelling is going to be very unique from a lot of these people, because a lot of them will go into cartoon writing, they'll go into filmmaking and stuff like that, and comic book writing, and I'm kind of curious to see what that influence of that whole generation has on pop culture 10, 15 years from now. It's going to be really interesting. Rumors and clickbaiters is a genre now. I mean, yeah, I think so. To me, they are. Like if someone is just putting out clickbait stuff or rumor stuff consistently, then they're about the same as a reaction channel, because that's what they're doing. They're just seeing a piece of news and they're going on and talking about it and reacting to it. Now, of course, we do that sometimes here, but I try to like dig and do a little bit more and try to figure out if it's something worth talking about. And there's been a lot of topics on Venom Vlog that I've skipped, that I haven't talked about, because I'm like, well, I want to make sure, like, especially when those leaked images were coming out from the trailer that I knew was bullcrap. And I'm just like, this isn't the trailer. Like, these aren't images from the trailer. They're clearly photoshopped. And people are sending me stuff daily. And we could be on episode 620 right now if I made an episode based on all those, and I didn't, because I was like, well, I don't want to put out there like a ton of that stuff. Like sometimes we talk about rumors and stuff on the live streams now, but we went about 500 episodes without really doing that. So maybe like once or twice. So yeah, I'd say I put them in a category. I wouldn't say they're a genre, but I kind of categorize them, I should say. Maybe unfairly. I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair, but I still get chills from the first scene when Venom tells Eddie not to open the door, and we see the symbiote action start. That music too, Venom tingles. Oh, for sure. I saw something the other day where someone was mentioning, I think it was on Google, like I just get random things pop up in Google now, and it was like someone made like a meme or something of Venom saying masks, for COVID, and it was like masks, he says mask, and the face comes over. So I was like, that's kind of neat. That's kind of funny. I am lucky to have Venom comics. You're right, because that's the one thing. I may not like what Donnie's doing, but because there's so much Venom, because he's successful in the comics now, because the movie was successful, now we're getting toys and we're getting all these things and T-shirts and stuff that we just didn't get for years and years after Venom 3 came out. Like we got some stuff, but not a ton. And it's great seeing that. Like it's good for this show. Like when I started this show, people were telling me, dude, why are you hitching your ride to the Venom star? Like, that movie's going to bomb. It's going to do terrible. It's going to get, and all the MCU fans are going to rip it apart and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't care what they think. Like, I'm excited for it. And because I stuck with that and there was consistency there of my excitement, a lot of you guys shared that enthusiasm and excitement. A lot of you guys were willing to see what the movie had to offer. And I know some of you out there don't like the movie as much as I did. And I know there are people out there that liked it way more than I did. But that's what's fun. That's the kind of community we built on this channel, is that we like to have the conversations. Like, I'm not like, I don't want to be like other YouTubers where like I see them where they'll go like, yeah, leave your thoughts down below. And then they just don't like anyone's comment. They don't heart anyone's comment. They don't interact really unless someone's being really mean. Then they'll feed the troll or whatever. And I'm just like, I like to feed everybody. There's plenty of me to go around. If I come home and I'm tired, I'll lay in bed. I'll go through the comments. I think the other day, like some bot wrote like something like "I love you" on one of my videos, and I kind of Han Solo'd them. I was like, I know. And then someone said, dude, that's a bot. And I'm like, I know. Like, I don't care. Unless it's like really offensive, I'll let it slide. I don't really care. Death Battle is pretty misinforming with some characters they use. Examples such as not specifying which version the characters are and actually their capabilities. I mean, of course, like us as fans, we can go into that. I used to do a show kind of like Death Battle, only it was like more of a news broadcast show. This guy, Daniel, it was like his creation. And he brought me on to be like the comic book expert. I think we were trying to find another comic expert, but he just had me on a little bit to help him pick some of the battles. And then when we could, I guess he was like, you know what, Siike, I just like you. And then sadly we had a falling out. Like it just, after we did the show a couple times, it was, I don't know, like, again, could have been just on me. Like sometimes with interactions with people, I'm not like always there, at least back then. Now I try to be more mature about stuff, but we had a falling out and we don't, obviously don't do the show anymore, but we did like a season or two of it, and we did versus battles. And I was that guy whenever people would go like, all right, we're going to have this versus this. I'm like, all right, well, and I would come up with arguments for both. I loved it. I had such a blast. You think we'll get lucky and get another teaser by January? Do you think they'll push it back again since Sony says they won't release movies until theaters are back 100%? Well, Sony didn't really say that. One guy at Sony said that. But I hear you, Tariq. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I think we're going to just have to wait it out and see. I mean, I hope we get something. And like I said, I think the plan for 2021 for these movie studios is to come up with the plan B. They need to figure it out, whether it's their own platforms or wherever they can make the most money. They got to figure it out. They got to start working on it now, because 543 theaters in the U.S. just went away. And I think there's only like 3,200 theaters in the U.S. to have play movies. So if a sixth of them just went away, then that's trouble. And in another 3 or 4 months, another 500 or 600 could go away. And that's trouble. And that means less theaters there are, less chances movies will make $1 billion or $2 billion. Like it'll be it. It'll be the end of big budgeted movies having that kind of splash in the world in theaters. So I don't know, man. I really don't. It's hard. It's really hard to predict that now. His name is Armin. The guy from Comic Cast. Oh yeah. So he blocked me, but it's like, again, I don't know if he blocked me because of what I said, which if he did, I wouldn't blame him. But definitely the other person who came in and like was swearing at him, I'm like, whoa, dude, don't. You know me. I don't like to. I mean, if I don't like someone, sure, I've been there where I like spit venom at them, but it's like I don't want to do that anymore. Like if someone just has a different opinion than I do, I don't want to sit there and like swear in their face and get in their face. I don't like to do that. My last roommate actually loved that, I guess, because sometimes me and Vic, I would not want to talk about something and he would just get in my face about it, and it would piss me off. The thing is, like in my condition, especially with a head injury, I can't get angry. Like it's not good for me, because once I get locked in, and it's so hard to come down off the anger. I basically just have to fatigue out because all the adrenaline and stuff. I just have to basically just ride it out until I have no more energy. And that's not healthy for me. I can't be doing that. So I try really hard not to get angry, like that angry. Sometimes I get angry at myself for things, because there will be times where I forget like whole sentences or words, but that's something I got to work on with myself, because I whenever I have a trouble with something like that, like I think like, I'm like, oh, it's your brain. Like, it's just your brain. It's not your fault, but there's a part of me that's like, no, I've overcome so much. I can get through this. I can say these words. Why can't I remember these words? And, it happens sometimes. So the only time I really get frustrated like that is with myself. And I think that's not too bad, because I think getting frustrated at other people, at least I know I'm not projecting it on other people. Like if I snap at somebody, it would probably be because I'm really mad that, for something like that. So I try not to really snap at people anymore. It had to be a child. Batman is a simp. Batman is a simp. Armin from ComboCast has gotten death threats and stalkers towards his family and friends. Twitter is scary. So see, that makes sense. Like, and I'm sure he has, because that guy makes a ton of content. He's got a lot of subscribers. And that's something I don't factor in sometimes, is that sometimes when you're rude to people online, even like me, like my comment wasn't like, it wasn't a death threat. It was just like, it was a jab at him, right? But even that, could really get under someone's skin in a way that I don't want to get under anyone's skin. I'm not here to make an impression on someone like that in a negative way. And I have before, of course, because we're all human, we all screw up, but I'm trying to learn from those mistakes and like not do that again and so I try to put yourself in their shoes. So like Armin, I'm sure he's a good guy at heart, and I'm sure he, I think his content is just fun. He's just like a routine for him. It's like working out. He probably just gets up every day. He's like, let's just make videos. What's out there we can talk about? And I'm sure Cosmic's like that too. I just choose not to be like that. I just choose to I try to choose my information. I plan my episodes sometimes weeks in advance. Like I'll record something and be like, oh shit, I filmed that 3 weeks ago. I better put that up on YouTube. And I'll put it up and I'll have like a beard in that video with long hair. And then the next day I'll live stream and I have like no hair and like, trimmed face. And I think people now don't comment on it anymore because they're like, oh yeah, that's how he is. Like I think there's going to be a video coming up where my hair is a lot shorter than it is now. One of my Ghost Rider videos, I filmed it like 3 weeks ago, right after I did my haircut, and I'm sure it's gonna, people are gonna be like, what the? That's not how you looked yesterday. But yeah, that's just how I am sometimes. I get behind on videos, but I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I don't wish death threats and stalkers and all that. That's crazy. Like that sucks. That's like one of the reasons when I see people go, dude, you should have more subscribers. I'm like, I don't want it. Like on some level, like maybe like a couple thousand, like maybe we can hit 5,000 at some point. That'd be great. But I don't want like 500,000 subscribers, because then I'll probably have to deal with stuff that Armin does and Cosmic Wonder do, where they probably get people writing them and threatening them or doxing them. And I don't want that. I don't want to be hurt by anyone. I don't want my family to be hurt by people. And I don't want to do that to somebody else. Like, I think that's the lowest of the low. And so yeah, when people say you should have more subscribers, I'm like, it's cool. We can tiptoe to more subscribers. We don't need to have 50,000 overnight. It's cool. Do you recommend Spider-Man 3 Black comic book? Yes, I do. I read it. We did an episode on it on the show because people recommended it to me. I didn't even know it existed, and it's awesome. You got to check it out. I laughed at Boomstick griping on the concept and inclusion of Null. I don't know who Boomstick is, but I'll trust your laughter on that. And Jazz Carnage is with you. I wonder how Donnie Cates will react to that small acknowledgement. Well, you know what? He's already said he wanted to be on my show, and then when I wrote him, he was like, sure, man, no problem. I was like, can I send you some questions? Because normally when I have guests, I send questions first. He's like, sure. I sent the questions, and then I never heard back from him. So I'm like, okay. So I guess, I don't know if he'll be on the show. I have no ill will towards that guy. I always say that. I may nitpick his writing, but one thing I'll always compliment him on is that he's making Venom a top-selling book, and that's good for this channel. That's good for Venom fans everywhere. So it doesn't, every time something Venom related comes out, I don't have to love it, but I'll still talk about it on the show, as much as I can and get your opinions on it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know with Donnie. Like, I'm like, does he not like me? Does he know who I am? Does he forget who I am? Because I feel like he and I have had like 3 or 4 interactions before. And I'm pretty sure he's got to at least be aware of my channel by now, because he's commented on I think 2 of my videos. So I know he's aware of me, but I'm like, and I'm sure he doesn't spend any moment of any day thinking about me, which is fine. But I wonder if whenever I do pop up in his head, he's like, oh, I got to do that guy's podcast. Nah. Or he probably clicks on my latest video and I probably give him a negative review. And he's like, yeah, I'm good not doing this guy's podcast. But I don't treat people badly. If they come on as a guest, I'm very respectful. I'm not here to get anybody or out any. I'm not here for that. I want to make entertaining content for you guys. And I just want to ask good questions that you guys would, 1, expect me to ask. But 2, I put in some fun questions in there, and even one from Swordsman. He sent me a question. And I was like, let's ask this question to Donnie. So it was I even had a fan question in there because I wanted to make something entertaining and fun and just a good conversation for Donnie and I to have. But I don't know. I haven't heard back from him. And I'm not on Twitter anymore, so for all I know, I should check that, actually. I should probably go check my Twitter and see if he messaged me. I have an idea, Skullman says, for a screenplay about an old, tired U.S. Marshal who meets a kid who was taken by a Mexican biker gang and must bring him to safety as he comes to terms with his own demons. Oh, that sounds neat. That sounds like kind of like Logan a little bit, but I mean, but with like the non-superhero twist to it, and the biker gang thing sounds cool. Um, yeah, that sounds neat, man. Actually, it sounds like I would watch that movie. Um, Jazz says same, nice. I like the old school Venom comics. Yeah, me too. I love everything about the movie. The movie's fun. I definitely like the movie, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. There's a couple things I didn't like, but some things I did. Amazing Spider-Man issue 300 being my favorite Venom comic. That's a good one. First full appearance. Don't fall for it and get the channel hacked and deleted. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I get, there's a fine line. No problem, Ferris. Have a good night. Hey, Siike, I can't believe it's been 2 years. I know, Unicycle. I can't believe it either. 2 years since Venom came out, and we were supposed to get Venom Let There Be Carnage this weekend as well. But just definitely a good time to do this episode, though, and talk to you guys. Don't get me wrong, Pikachu says, I love speculating about what the intense battles would be like, but if we're going to do research, it doesn't kill to go all out with every character. I agree, and so does Jazz Carnage. Pikachu says home streaming film will be the alternative for theaters, even though it won't be the same. Nothing lasts forever, even the good things I've grown up with. I mean, yeah, I mean, technology has been the one thing that has evolved. It's evolving too fast for humans. Like if you look at us, we're still like we're not evolving in a lot of ways, like or we're de-evolving in some ways, and then the things we are evolving at, it doesn't feel like an evolution. Like I watched that presidential debate, and I saw two grown 70-year-old plus men talking to each other in real life like they were Twitter handles, and that embarrassed the shit out of me, because people are awful to each other on social media a lot of times, especially on Twitter, and they interrupt each other and they talk over each other, and they say, oh, here's a fact. No, it's not a fact. It's a lie. Oh, okay, you're lying now, and it's just these constant pissing matches. And when I saw two grown men who want to be the leader of this country having that same, like basically they could have been doing that on Twitter all day, I'm just like, I don't know if I feel like humanity is evolving, like truly evolving. If this is who we elected to be our leaders, I think we fucked up somewhere big time. Hey, Siike, what's up, Andrew? How's it going? Hold on. Oh yeah, I caught up there. All right, yeah, they would be at their peak if they're fighting to the death. Exactly, right. Dude, I know the frustration. When we want to improve, we are our own worst critics. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm terrible at myself. Like, hey, what's up, great ones? How's it going? I'm very harsh on myself. That's why my book Neverland is like still, we're in the final stages of it. But God, to get here, I mean, it was a lot of me. Like my editors even would be like, "This is pretty good." I'm like, "Fuck you, this sucks." Like I get so mad. I'm like, no, I could do better. This sucks so much. Like I'm not a perfectionist. I mean, I guess on some level I am a perfectionist. I should admit that. But it's not about making the story perfect. It's not about that. The story's not perfect. When I reread it, I'm like, all right, it's not perfect. I have grammar issues sometimes, and I have things that we missed or whatever. And we're trying to find them all and stuff. But I just want to do what's right for the characters, like the way I see the characters. That's the only thing. So like when I really do put myself, every character in this book, and there's like 30, that I've put myself in their shoes. And it's hard because I'm like, I don't know what a Native American woman type, Tiger Lily, I don't know what she feels like or what it's like to be her. But the situation I put her in, I can imagine myself in that situation. And then when, like I said, I started making parallels between her and Billy from Predator. And I was like, you know what? I want to give her the Billy scene, like the scene where Billy tells everyone to go and she stays behind and she's going to fight the Predator. That's what she does. She tells everyone to go and she's going to stay behind and fight Peter Pan at like the beginning of the end of the second act. And I'm just like, I'm so glad like I went that route with her, because it makes her tough and badass. But I feel like there's a lot of relatable stuff to her. When you see, I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff, because I feel like this is probably the best thing I ever wrote, and it's going to be the last thing I think I ever write. There's going to be a couple projects I do after this, but I'll probably write them under ghost names, and I probably will try not to take credit for them and just get them out there, or just release them for free for fun on this YouTube channel. But this is going to be the last thing I actively publish and get out there, and I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. And after this, I never want to really write again. I think my new passion is making these videos and making content. I would rather trust me, when I don't have to write, you will see a lot more videos coming out of me, because on days like even like last night, I got home from work, slept up until like 10 o'clock at night, called my mom, went back to bed, woke up at 4 this morning and wrote for like 3 hours and then got ready for work. If I didn't have to write, I would have a lot more time to do YouTube content. So when I check that box off and we get those books out there, it's going to be great. And I'm going to put a link in the, to where to buy those books when they come out in the description box. And every sale I make, I got to send them to the Kickstarter backers first. So once they get them all, then I'll start selling them here probably early next year. And I'm going to use that money and I'm actually going to turn my bedroom into a full-on recording studio for gaming and for YouTubing. And I'm going to soundproof the room and everything. And that's going to be funded by money that I make off here. And we're going to start in 2021 memberships on this channel where people can have memberships and they can see Venom vlog episodes like a couple days before they go up for free. When they just go up on regular, you'll get early access to the Venom vlog episodes. And there's going to be new shows I create in 2021 that will be only for members. So I'm still working all that out, but I got to get my book done first. You get the symbiote for one day, all previous owners, powers included. What's the first thing you go doing? What's the first thing I'm going to do with a symbiote with everyone's powers? Get Congress to send us a stimulus check. Probably the first thing. And then also try to figure out how to help people who lost their homes get their homes back. And if I have to like threaten a couple landlords, I mean, it's not on the landlords. They need money too. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you can do with the symbiote to help real world problems, to be honest with you, but I would try to figure it out. Venomverse was a weird storyline. It sure was, but it was fun. Seek thoughts on the new Venom comic with alternate world with adult despot Dylan and spoiler. Well, I mean, if you want to watch that, I already uploaded my video for that. So I don't want to, because we're going to end the show here in like 9 minutes. So my Venom 27 and 28 review is up on the channel. So you can see my full thoughts on that book. They're mixed as usual. The Death Battle commentary character who looks like an alcoholic trucker. I forget the voice actor's name. I don't know, but that sounds cool to me. Peak the VA for Boomstick is Chad, I think. Oh, okay. The VA for Boomstick is Chad. Okay. I don't know who that is. It's weird to think that Venom Let There Be Carnage would have been released today, this weekend. Reviews would have been out and the movie would have just been going crazy right now if it wasn't thanks to COVID. I mean, a lot of things. Like to me, I mean, movies getting pushed back is not what upsets me about COVID. It's the people dying and it's the people losing their jobs and it's businesses being destroyed. I mean, here's the thing. In about 10, 15 years, we probably would have been easing away from movie theaters anyway. I feel like for the most part, I know people don't want to admit that, but I think so. I think we would have been leaning off of that. COVID has accelerated a lot of things to evolve faster than they were meant to. And I think that's why we're having so many problems now, because it's eliminating too many jobs right now. We needed an easier transition and we don't have one. So we're losing a lot. And people are losing their lives, they're losing loved ones, their friends. They're having to move back home with their parents. I know a lot of people that are grown adults that were doing fine living on their own and now have moved back in and live with their families. And it's dynamics and lives have changed. And although there are people out there that are thriving, I actually have a friend who said, he's like, man, I've been struggling every day in LA. And during this COVID thing, I got like, I'm a Lyft driver and I'm a this, and I drop off food for, I'm one of the food delivery services and I do Amazon pickups. He's like, I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life because of this. And I'm like, yeah, there are people out there that are grinders who work hard, who are surviving, but there are a lot of people that are hurting. So I don't know. That's what I think of most when I think of COVID, to the point where it can reach the president and infect everyone around him. Like that's insane. Like I'm not a big fan of Trump, but to see the virus rise up like that and hit everyone in the White House is pretty crazy. It's insane. So those are the things I think of first. Movies, I know every day I wake up and I think about Venom, but it's not, I'm okay with safety first. That's how I feel. But I still feel like these studios need to come up with another way to release movies next year. The weird thing about the rise of streaming is my town just got its main downtown theater fixed up. Oh, did it? I like seeing old theaters get fixed up. That's always a plus. Are you happy that Andy Serkis is directing Venom, Let There Be Carnage instead of Ruben Fleischer? I mean, I don't know. I like Ruben. He's a good director. I don't know what his relationship was like with Tom and everyone on the first movie. I think there was just a clash of a lot of ideas, maybe. It sounded like Ruben Fleischer wanted to make a movie that was more akin to The Fly. And I think Tom wanted to do something a little bit more fun with it. At least that's what it seems. I don't know that for sure. So that's just my speculation based off what I heard from each of them saying in interviews. But I think Andy might be someone who might have a different vision for the franchise than Tom does, and it'll be really interesting to see what that is. But you also have Kelly Marcel, she came in as a writer in the first movie. I don't know if she wrote the first draft or what. I don't know what draft she wrote, or if she came in towards the end. But she's the sole writer on this movie, and I think that's only going to help this movie because I think she's a very talented writer, and I think those other guys that came in to do rewrites or whatever they did on their first script, I'm kind of glad they're not attached to the movie anymore. So I think having her come up with a solid foundation, and Tom kind of worked, I think, with her on it, but I know she wrote the script, and then giving that to Andy and presenting it to him, and then having him just bring the vision to it, I hope it comes out to be really good. So I'm excited for him. But I wouldn't say I choose one over the other. I would just say I'm interested to see what Andy does, and we can judge from there afterwards of what we think is the better of the two movies. Technology really is evolving too fast for us. Yeah, it is. That's why a lot of people contemplate just getting, technology installed into their own bodies. I watched the presidential debate and wanted to ram a screwdriver through my ear and make the stupid stop. I mean, it was that bad. I agree. Speaking of Twitter, what you said reminds me of the quote from Joker. Everybody just yells and screams at each other. Nobody's civil anymore and thinks what it's like to be the other guy. Isn't that funny that line, I love that line in that movie from Joker. And I thought, how insane that line coming from the guy who's about to become the worst criminal that city has ever seen. Isn't that crazy? Like it's like, I love that. The idea of that is that someone is trying to be rational. They're frustrated that the world is the way it is. And they're like, and that's why I think I understand the Joker more from watching that movie. He was trying to be a rational person, but rational people aren't rational anymore. And they certainly weren't in that movie for the most part. And so they had this classism thing in this this life in tiers and steps, and everyone's above these people and everyone appears above these people. And there was a lot of that going on. We can get away with anything because we're rich and we have money, or we have this kind of privilege and stuff. And it was really neat to hear that line come from Joker. And he's right. People are not civil to each other anymore. And I think if people were more civil, there would be less need there. We wouldn't create jokers. We wouldn't create people who go out there and do mass shootings in churches and places. Like, yeah, I know on some level those people always kind of exist to a degree, but they're waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to lose it. And sometimes the way they interpret people saying it's okay for them to lose it is by everyone acting like an idiot. So yeah, we're all acting like idiots. A lot of us are right now. And we're not civil to each other. We're not respectful to each other. Nothing was more clear watching that debate. It's like, you two are grown men. You're 70 years old plus, 70 plus years old, each of you. You should, like my grandpa had more respect for people. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to sound like a teenager fighting over who's the better Spider-Man. You're supposed to sound like grown men who care for this country, and you're addressing the problems this country's having. Like, there are people I saw in Texas getting dozens and dozens of people being taken out of their homes, evicted. And then you have people over in the Senate just going like, we're waiting for a better deal to release stimulus checks. It's like, well, if you would have just released the deal you had and then just fight harder on the next one, that $1,200 could have went to those people, and maybe at least half of them maybe didn't have to get evicted. Maybe half of them could have taken that money and used it to pay the next 2 months of rent. You could have literally saved people. You could have literally fought for the people you say you speak for as representatives of the Senate and the House. And yet you guys are too busy playing games. Like like Pelosi doesn't want checks to go out to people that have Donald Trump's name on them because it makes Donald Trump look good. And it's like, who gives a crap? I think people who are going to vote for Biden, if they get a check that has Donald Trump's name on it, it's not going to make them vote for Donald Trump. They're still going to vote for Biden. And Donald Trump knows that. And Pelosi knows that. Like, these people know this. They're not, they're not stupid. They're supposed to be adults, but they play these games with each other. And it's like, well, while you're playing your political games, people are literally losing their homes and dying. And so we don't care about your bullshit. Like, we don't care that, of the games you're playing and the votes you're trying to get. We don't care. If you want votes, earn them, help people. Not everybody needs a stimulus check, but a lot of people do. It would help them. Not everybody needs unemployment benefits, but a lot of them do. It would help them. And if people have excess money, they'll just put it into Amazon and Walmart and Target, all the businesses that are still open. So those businesses will thrive. They'll be able to open more of them during the pandemic, create more jobs. Like, there's a trickle effect. That's how you help the economy. People have money that's excess of what they need to use to spend on, living. They have excess and they go and spend it on the economy. You could help. I mean, I'm not a genius at this stuff. I'm not smart at it even. I don't even know a fraction of really economics to a degree, but it doesn't. It seems like a reasonable solution for now. And I know people are like, oh, but that'll make things tougher in the long run. It's like, then we'll deal with it then. And I'm not trying to push our today's problems off to tomorrow. I'm trying to solve some of today's problems that are solvable. And if it creates new problems tomorrow, then we'll have to come up with new ways to solve them. Like, it's sorry guys, you have to work. Like, you're gonna have to work. That's why you're in the Senate. That's why you're in the House, because you constantly have to work. On every time a new obstacle arises, you have to figure out a way around it. That's part of your job. Yes, do that. Book honestly sounds pretty badass. Shit the hell out of it. I want to buy one when published. I will let you know. I think Neverland is. I think it's going to be my. I hope people like it. I just hope people read it. Most of my books don't sell more than a couple thousand copies, so I would really love this one to sell really well, because I think it's my best work, and I hope I did J.M. Barrie proud by writing something that I hope feels like a really good sequel to Peter Pan. I wasn't trying to do better than Hook or anything like that. I wasn't trying to do better than anyone. I just wanted to be better than myself. When I wrote that first draft and I reread it and I showed my editors, we all agreed that I could do a lot better. And I'm so glad we put the time into it to make it better. And I hope people like it when it comes out. I actually did Venom as a project for film class in my senior year of high school. Hey, nice. A few months ago. Nice. That's awesome. How'd it go? Cure cancers. I mean, I always said, I was like, you make a list of everything that kills people and start going through and checking things off that list, working on them. I know there are people that are working on cancer cures, because my aunt was one of them, and she was working a long time on that stuff. And I don't know how far they got. I don't even know if she's still a scientist anymore, but yeah, she spent a long time working on stuff like that. Will the effects of COVID be permanent? I mean, the effect, 543 movie theaters are gone. That's permanent. I don't know if those theaters will come back. So yeah, I would say there's going to be permanent effects for sure. I don't think it was COVID, this one. I'm sure they were going to delay it for a bit for profits and probably finish the CGI maybe. I don't agree. I think they wanted Venom out. They definitely were pushing Morbius back. I think that was the clincher. Once they decided, all right, Morbius is not coming out till later, that to me, even though they didn't announce it right away, that's when I knew Venom wasn't either. Because I think you're supposed to see Morbius before Venom. I think it's supposed to be the viewing order of those movies. Not that it really matters, but I think that's what it's designed to be. And I guess that'll make more sense when we watch the movies. But no, I think if they wanted to get that movie out by October, they would have, for sure. I wonder if Andy's still working on the film. He is right now. I think he goes in and shoots stuff for Batman from time to time. And then there's his editor that remotely works on the movie, and then they get stuff ready. And then Andy, when he's done filming, takes breaks on the weekends, whatever, comes back and checks in on it. As far as I know, that guy is a machine. He never stops working. And the other members that are working from home. Yeah, for sure. Got to go later, Venom vlog. Yeah, no problem, Pikachu. I got to go soon too. Yeah, have a good night, Pikachu. Let me catch up on these comments here. Venom, did you hear that there was a James Cameron Spider-Man movie in development in 1990? Yes, I did. And I have the script for it, or a outline for it. And I have a script for David Koepp's first version of Spider-Man before Sam Raimi came on as director, and it had Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin as the villains. Are you a Trump supporter or voting for Trump? I am not a Trump supporter, but I'm not an if people say, hey, I voted for Trump, I don't think you're a terrible person. I disagree with you for sure, but I don't think you're a terrible person. I'm not an extremist in any way. But I don't really talk about that kind of stuff on this channel, for the most part. I mean, I give my perspective on them, but I don't talk about what I vote for and who I'm voting for. But I'm not a Trump supporter. But yeah, let's not get political. Exactly. I'm into politics too. Don't get me wrong. I'm judging him if he is hearing opinion. Yeah, I love hearing opinions. That's my thing. That's my whole thing on this channel, is that I love hearing other people's opinions. And in real life, I like making money. there was a time where I was choosing more creativity over money making, and I thought that looking back at that, it was kind of dumb because I never really made any money doing creative stuff. So that's why I really wanted Neverland to be good, not just creatively, but just have things in it that make sense to a broader audience and have more characters in it that people might connect to. So it's my attempt. We'll see how it goes, but I definitely very much like making money, and I want to make more of it so I don't have to live the way I've been living for the past few years. That's why I love Star Trek, because it shows that hopefully in the future centuries that humanity has evolved and that war, poverty, fatherlessness, hunger, etc. are fading away. Yeah, that'd be great. I grew up watching the Star Trek movies, but never the TV shows. But I've recently kind of been converted into Star Trek stuff, and I very much like some of the stuff I've been exposed to. I think Star Trek's a really neat universe. I don't really watch a lot of the new stuff. Everyone tells me to stay away from it, so I try to watch like older episodes when I get a chance. The project went well, and it was a fun process. Nice, good to hear, man. I hope for Venom 2, no Eddie and romantic subplot beyond maybe showing the two recognize in spite of loving each other, they are better apart. I love the maturity relationship show. I agree. That'd be great to have in there. LOL, I remember the R-rated Spider-Man pitch. I don't remember that, I don't think. But that's funny. I mean, I remember there's a James Cameron pitch. I think his pitch was maybe, I think Hydro Man and Sandman were the villains originally. I can't remember why, but I mean, that's an interesting place to start with Spider-Man, that's for sure. Who knows how Venom 2 would have looked like if it came out this month? I mean, yeah, I gotta say, the movie's gonna benefit for getting pushed back as far as visually and pacing and editing wise. Like if you get more time to work on things and you don't have to crunch, for sure, it's gonna probably come out better. If it doesn't, then you're gonna be like, why'd you get all that extra time? You tell me you couldn't fine tune this thing better? So I have hopes that this will be a really strong movie. And I hope to give it a higher rating than I gave the first movie. Venom 1, I gave a 7 out of 10. I hope to give this, higher rating for sure. And I hope I like it a lot. I hope Carnage is done really, really well. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate everything that you guys do, what you contribute to this channel, being here, the 17 likes, everything, just hanging out, talk with me, listening to me ramble about stuff. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad we've celebrated 2-year anniversary of the Venom movie coming out. Venom 2 would have come out this weekend, so we got to have all this in one episode. And this show is just about 3 years old, coming up soon, a couple weeks. We will officially hit our 3-year anniversary because we started this show in 2017, I believe in November of 2017. So I'll definitely do a special live stream on that evening as well, and we'll hang out and talk with each other at that time. What do you think about Spider-Man 3 news, that it might have a Spider-Verse in it? We talked a little bit about that earlier, but yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. We'll get more into detail on that coming up soon. Yo, Venom, what's your name? Dude, I can't keep calling you Venom. Sure you can. I love that name. But my name is Siike. So have a good night, J Money. Yeah, that's crazy, right? I'll see you guys later, Hotspot. Thank you. All of you guys in here, thank you so much. You guys have a good night. Yes, my name is Siike, as in Seek and Destroy. And I'll have a Seek and Destroy video for you guys up tomorrow and a Transformer video for you guys up tomorrow. And then I'll have some more Venom vlog stuff for you up on Wednesday. And then we'll do another live stream on Thursday after I watch Skull's recommendation finally of Cell Block 99. I'm finally going to get to that and watch the rest of it tonight. So I'll do a live stream on Thursday, and we'll talk about movies that we've watched during COVID. I'll start making a list, and we'll talk about them on Thursday. So start making your list too, and meet me back here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, and we'll talk about our movies we've watched during COVID, including Brawl at Cell Block 99. If one of you guys want to go watch it too, please do, so you can join our conversation on Thursday. Thank you guys so much. Great ones. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Peace.